Hello and welcome back to another out-of-spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Next to me here we have my wife's EV9 that is in desperate need of a bath. In today's video we're going to talk about how to do a safer, more effective, and importantly more efficient wash on your vehicle. We all love keeping our cars clean, but we don't love to spend a ton of time doing it. We're going to go through all of the different products we're going to use, step-by-step instructions, areas where you can kind of skip steps, how you can make things more efficient and also make it safer and more effective at deep cleaning your car. So welcome back and let's jump into it. The whole premise behind this video is really to do three important things. Number one, make our washes more efficient. Like I said in the intro, a lot of people like to keep their car clean, but they may not have a ton of time to actually do it. Now, I'm a huge believer in doing contact washes when it's actually necessary. There are certain times where you can run the vehicle through a pay and spray, get some of the quick dirt and grime off the vehicle. But when it comes to a contact wash, a lot of people kind of, don't really look forward to it because you have a lot of chemicals. It can take a lot of time. So we're going to talk through about how to make it efficient. Now, in conjunction with that, just being that it's an efficient wash, we don't want to kind of disregard actually getting a deep clean on the vehicle. That's where chemicals come into play. A lot of the times, professional detailers actually use very professional products because of what? Well, these products are intended to do a certain job. It's going to make your time more efficient and they're going to work more effectively. So I'm a big believer in spending money on products that actually work. We're going to go through the whole process here from start to finish, cleaning the wheels, foaming the paint, how we actually wash the paint, how we get through, put some protection on, and actually dry it. Now, the last step that I want to talk about is really the safety aspect of it. Anytime you're washing your vehicle, you're at risk of actually damaging it. If you're taking it through brush car washes, you're going to induce a ton of scratches, a ton of swirl marks. If you take it through a normal car wash, a lot of the times these companies are not using very safe chemicals there. They have high acid or high alkaline pH soaps and a lot of different nasty cleaners, which can actually start to discolor trim. It can hurt coatings on here, and it can actually start to make a mess of your vehicle over time. So when we come to contact washing or hand washing our vehicle, we of course want to make sure we're doing it the safest manner possible. But that's also going to lead us to the fact of being more efficient. We'll talk a little bit about that later down the road. So I want to run you through all the products starting off here. Then we're going to go step by step through the process of how I actually do this. Now, my first step is always to clean the wheels and tires. Now, the product we're going to be using today is Posh Deep Wheel. This is a product I did a full review on, and I've been amazingly impressed with the cleaning power of this, as well as some other added benefits to it. Number one, this product is really a 2-in-1 cleaner. Cleans the tires as well as cleans the wheels. This actually goes in there and breaks down all of that nasty brake dust inside of the wheels. Now, EVs don't necessarily have a ton of that, but we still have a ton of dirt and grime. We get salt, brine, all of that mag chloride throughout the winter times. And this has been an amazingly impressive wheel cleaner. So I haven't fully switched to this. I do still think there are use cases to use really crazy iron removers. If you have a track car, something like an Audi or Mercedes, sometimes it's important to use products like that. Other times, what I find myself using just to save on cost is using something like Simple Green. Simple Green's an amazing cleaner, especially if you actually have your wheels coated. So once we get through the wheel and tire segment, cleaning all of those up, then we need to look at the front end of the vehicle using a product like Anti-Insect here from Posh Detailing. Now, there's a lot of different bug cleaners out there. There's this one here from Posh. There's other ones that I like to use, such as 3D Bug Remover. We're just going to be showcasing this product today, seeing how it actually works. I've been using this, been pretty impressed with it. Next, we're going to get into our actual pre-wash stage or our pre-rinse stage, and that is using an alkaline-based cleaner. So over here we have Labo Cosmetica Primus 2.0. Now what this soap is actually going to do is go in and break down all of that road grime, that dirt, all of the nasty stuff that's actually been sitting on your vehicle. This car has not been hand washed for, I think, about 3 to 4 months, which is pretty sad. We've had a lot of rain here, of course. We've had some kind of winter mix, snow, nasty stuff like that. So I know there's a lot of embedded contaminants in this. And before we even touch it with a wash mitt, I want to use this product on it. So naturally what I normally do, we'll again talk about this a little bit more. I'll spray the front end on a completely dry, cool to the touch car with our anti-insect, have this ready to go in a foam cannon, spray it right over the top and let it dwell. Again, we'll get into our efficiency steps of where you can save yourself time by having bottles filled, getting your buckets ready at certain times to make sure you're cutting down on the time. There's nothing worse than having your car foamed down, you're scrambling around trying to get all of your tools, your products ready, and trying to dilute everything, and then come to realize this is dried on your car, you're trying to fill this, it's not a fun experience whatsoever. So after we do our initial pre-wash on here, or pre-rinse, we're of course going to rinse the car down, then we need to refoam it and use something for actual contact wash. What we're going to be using today is Meguiar's Shampoo Plus. This is actually one of my favorite pH neutral shampoos. It's a little bit more on the slightly alkaline scale, but still within the pH neutral range. It's a very effective cleaner, gives great lubrication, great cleaning, and importantly, it's not really leaving a lot behind. No silicones, no waxes, no ceramic infused SiO2, this and that. It's just a nice, good, deep clean. So we're going to have that in a second foam cannon. Now during our wash here, we're going to be using these wash mitts. These are my absolute favorite wash mitts. These are chenille wash mitts from Chemical Guys. They're actually very inexpensive. Now importantly, in today's video, we're going to be doing a 1 bucket wash instead of a 2 bucket wash. Now a 2 bucket wash would be normally where you have a soap bucket, a clear water rinse bucket, and probably 2 wash mitts. Only when you're going on to the panel, you come out of the soap bucket, wash your panel, you'd flip it over, do another panel, then it goes into rinse, scrub it on a grit guard, back into soap, da-da-da-da-da. That takes a lot of time. Instead, what I really enjoy doing is actually using the 1 bucket wash, where you take 10, 12 of these wash mitts, throw it in a bucket of soap, you do 1 panel, flip it over, do the other panel, boom, that one is actually done. Grab a fresh one. You can see how much time you're actually saving there. And importantly, you're actually getting a safer wash because you don't have contaminants coming off of this into your buckets, into another bucket, potentially back on here. Again, we want to avoid all scratches, all swirl marks, all of the love marks. Lastly here, because this car has yet to be ceramic coated, again, coming back to time, I don't have a ton of time to do all of my cars. All this car has on it is Gyeon Wet Coat. This is an amazing product. Absolutely love this stuff. I know there's some actually new products that work very similar to this on the market, of which I'll be testing here pretty soon. Essentially though, after you've done your full contact wash, you've rinsed the vehicle, this is the quickest, easiest, and most effective way to actually add a little bit of protection onto the paint, onto the glass, the wheels, plastic trim, whatever. Basically the entire exterior of the car. The way this works is, after you've rinsed it, spray down a panel, pressure wash it off, boom, it is actually kind of coated. Now this is not a long-term protection product. What this is really meant to do is add a month to 3 month protection. Again, that 1 to 3 months depends on how dirty your car is, the climate you're living in, yada, yada, yada. This is also a great ceramic coating maintenance topper. So if you have a car coated, you want to put a little added protection on there just to help with the coating underneath. Boom, that's a great product for you. Lastly, we'll get into actually drying the vehicle. This is another area that I think a lot of people struggle with. They don't use the right towels, they're not using the right methods, they're getting a lot of water spots on their vehicle. We'll talk about all of that and more. Our drying aid today we're going to be using is Posh Paint Finish. This has been a very, very nice paint finish that you use very little of and actually get a more effective drying. A lot of the times I've been using Adam's waterless wash, which I still believe is one of the best drying aids out there because it's very effective, it's very cheap, adds lubrication to it, but I've been actually really impressed with Posh Paint Finish here. You can see I'm starting to get a few of these Posh detailing products in here because they're really high quality, and also I love to support smaller content creators, smaller detail shops that are actually making very impressive products. So now that we understand understand all the products we're going to be using today, we're going to get started here on the wheels and tires, talking through the process of how I actually do this. A couple of tips I want to give you here for our washing technique to make it more efficient. Number one, and a lot of people get this wrong, make sure your bottles are filled before you even start your wash. You don't want to get into the third, the fourth wheel and realize, darn it, I'm out of cleaner. Now I got to go back and fill it up. Or if you're using a product like Simple Green that you're diluting half and half, now you've got to get to the fourth wheel and you're like scrambling going, okay, now I got to fill this half and half, got to put water in it, got to get all that situated. Meanwhile, everything's kind of drying. Same comes to the point of our foam canisters. Now here you can see I actually have two foam cannons because we're using two different soaps. You absolutely do not need two foam cannons. What I would recommend, picking up a nice MTM Hydro foam cannon here and picking up extra canisters. These plastic canisters down here are between $3 and $5 depending on where you find them. What I encourage you to do if you're doing a proper wash here, even just using pH neutral soap, fill both of them up with your pH neutral soap. That way you're not having to go back and dilute it. By the time you foam your car, you're letting it dwell. You've already got one ready to go. You just screw it on the bottom, boom, you're good. I keep these around a lot because I'm testing multiple different soaps at the time. So I probably have 6 of these different canisters of which I'll label, this has this soap, this has this soap, this has that. So if you're getting into kind of the area of where you're using, a pH neutral soap, an acid soap, and an alkaline, it's nice to have different bottles, again, so you're not trying to dilute them every single time. Again, last step here, when you get to wet coat, make sure you have enough of it. Make sure you have enough of your drying aid. Don't be chasing yourself around, waiting for yourself to fill this product up, trying to dilute it. The car is drying. It's an absolute nightmare. One of the next steps I can tell you is for our wheel bucket. So get your wheel bucket filled first after you've got all of these filled up. We're going to be using the Meguiar's Shampoo Plus in that, ready to go. Then I would actually wait for your wash bucket, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So I would get your bottles filled, get your wheel bucket filled, start on the wheels, and be ready to go. Now it's time to get our wheels and tires and all of our fender liners actually cleaned up. Now this always brings some controversy because everybody's got their own approach to this. Some guys would just take a completely dry wheel like this, spray on their cleaner, and just get to scrubbing. That personally is not the way to go in my opinion. The reason being is, especially if you're in a lot of rain, you get all of these pebbles in here that you're literally just going to scrub into piano black wheels. Now these are of course very cheap plastic aero covers here on the EV9, and they would just get absolutely destroyed. Now what I would say, if you just have a car, maybe you haven't been in rain, you've got just brake dust, you're probably okay just to use an iron-based wheel cleaner here, spray down the wheel, and then start scrubbing. I'm totally cool with that. But when it's at a point like this, it needs a little bit more deeper clean. So what I'm going to do here is actually rinse the face of the wheel. It's kind of nice on these EV9 wheels. I don't really have to worry about the barrels. You don't really see them at all, and they're a little annoying to clean anyway. So very, very simple wheels to clean. So I'm going to spray that down, spray the fender liners down. Then I'm going to grab my Posh Deep wheel here, of which I have an Quasar bottle. And then we are going to actually add our Premise 2.0 Labo Cosmetica on top of that. Reason being is you want a little lubrication on there, and the soap is going to help lubricate everything. So when you're actually going in there scrubbing it with brushes, you're not causing damage. One of the other tips I can give you here is using a turbo nozzle. I know a lot of people are going to freak out about this, but if you're using a correct pressure washer to actually wash a car, I'm not talking about a 5,000 PSI gas pressure washer. That is not what you should be using on your car. You should actually be using something that has a lower PSI and higher GPM. That is actually the way to properly diagnose which pressure washer you want to get. So I use a Kranzla here. PSI is very low, but GPM is very high. You, of course, don't want to get 2 inches away from your paint here and completely destroy it. But this is the most effective way to clean carpeted fender liners out there. Gets in there, sprays around all of that water. It's going to loosen up all that dirt and grime. It is insane how much crud gets caught up in here. So first off, let's get to rinsing. now that we've got that rinsed down, let's first start off spraying our tire here. And as you can see, this Quasar is about the best bottle ever because look, on the pull it sprays and on let go it sprays also. So just getting this worked all around the wheel and the face of the tire here. We're going to hook on our foam cannon. Now that's really going to help break down a lot of that dirt and grime, especially using that alkaline-based snow foam. It's going to give lubrication. It's going to give cleaning power. Now, another recommendation I have for you, I love having all sorts of different brushes, tools like that, but minimize it for your wash routine. Of course, here with the carpeted fender liners, I don't need to go in there and scrub them. I'm using the turbo nozzle, so I don't need that in my bucket. I also don't need my smaller tire brush here because these are big tires. I would try and eliminate as many tools in your wheel bucket as humanly possible so you're not fumbling around. I am constantly sticking my hand in here, bringing up a brush, going, that's not the one I wanted, searching for it again. The wheel is drying, gets annoying, gets frustrating. Some of the times it's best to use as little as possible. So I'm going to start here on the tires, get these nicely scrubbed down. Next, I'm going to come back into my bucket, use my Detail Factory wheel face brush. Now, all these will be in the link in the description below. I've got dedicated videos talking about exactly why I like all of these brushes. These wheels are just the easiest wheels to clean out there, bar none. Then I'm going to come in here, get the tiny intricate areas with my little lug nut brush. All around here. Lastly, what I like to do is grab a microfiber towel. This is actually extremely effective for getting the face of wheels. It just helps, microfibers help pick everything up. It's also very helpful for getting behind spokes. Of course, we don't really have that here on the EV9, so I just like to go around the face of the wheel one more time. Boom. Back into the wheel bucket that goes. Then we can come over here, grab our turbo nozzle, and as you can see, most of the foam's gone in here, and we're ready to rinse. I hope you guys can see down here the grime that is held in here. That's why the turbo nozzle is so effective. Now it's a little hard for me in this area, but I'm trying to keep it off of the paint here, just trying to stay out of your way while filming. So I would be very cautious with this. Don't get it super close to the paint. Stay back a little bit. On these carpeted areas, it's not gonna ruin kind of the fabric inside of it. Extremely effective for cleaning. So I'm going to continue around the car. This process, when you're doing it, when I'm not on camera with you guys, really takes me about 8 to 10 minutes to do all the wheels. That's it. I've just completed all of the wheels now, and now we're actually into washing the car. Now, before we spray anything down, we want to make sure the paint's cool, dry, ready to go. Now, first step always is to spray bug remover on the windshield, the side mirrors, as well as the front end, anywhere where, of course, there are bugs. Now, I like to do this before I rinse the vehicle because we want to let all of the chemicals actually do our cleaning. Again, very different from the wheels here because we're actually going to let the chemical do the job. This will help you a little bit more, but it can be confusing for a few people. So another recommendation here, get a either battery powered sprayer for this or use something like the Quasar. Your hand will get tired actually doing this. I also have a basically motorized keg that I can just spray all of the bug cleaner on. Takes literally 10 seconds to do the entire front end of the car. But if you have just a product like this, feel free to go spray it. So I'm going to start up here by spraying the windshield down, get a good nice layer on here. Now again, it's important to do this dry because it's going to give that cleaner a higher potential at getting in there, eating those bugs away. Then once we spray our alkaline cleaner, it's also going to get in there and actually start eating away those bugs as well before we ever even touch it. Now that the bug remover's on, we've got our Primus 2.0 in here, and we are ready to foam down the EV9. So we've got the alkaline-based snow foam on here doing its thing. Look at all the nasty bug guts on here, as you can see, where that's really pulling a lot of that dirt and grime off. Pretty crazy what this product does, honestly. Now, I know I'll get a lot of questions if this is a product I would recommend using all the time. I would say absolutely you can use it all the time, but I would probably dilute it a little bit less strong. That's going to help with longevity of your ceramic coatings, not using super harsh chemicals all the time. So really what they say is winter dirt and grime 1 to 5 on this, and then summertime 1 to 10. You can also dilute it a little bit less. So importantly now, while this is actually sitting here bleeding off all the film, all the dirt and grime off of the car, now we want to get our contact wash bucket set up. So again, in here in my Yeti bucket, I've got about 10 of these wash mitts in here ready to go. Now we're going to fill this with our Shampoo Plus as well, fill the bucket completely up. Now this is not, to be honest, 100% only a 1 bucket wash, because I keep my blue bucket over here to throw my dirty mitts back into there, and then I just grabbing fresh ones. Now, again, I think this concept is a little foreign to a few people. They think it's wasteful. I'm telling you, if you want the safest, most efficient, and most effective clean, this is the way to do it. Because essentially, think about this. If you're washing your car with 2 wash mitts, even though you do have grit guards in here, you've got a lot of dirt and grime. This thing was just filled with all the crap from the mountains here in Colorado. I would rather have a fresh, clean mitt every single time I touch a new panel. If that means laundry for me, okay. I mean, for me, the difference of putting 2 wash mitts in the washer rather than 10 is absolutely nothing. So they just all go into the washer immediately after I wash a car, wash them, dry them, they're ready to go for next time. It's pretty effective for me to use. Now, a lot of professional detailers are like, well, we wash 10 cars at our shop a day. Okay, great, then use the 2 bucket method. I don't wash multiple cars a day here. We see cars that are, 5, 6 times a week I'm washing cars. So my washer and dryer is constantly going, but for the folks at home, the 1 bucket method is really the way to go. So big thing here, you don't want to let this dry. You want to get it to the point of you can see it stripping stuff off, but not letting it completely dry. Now this product's actually pretty great, because if it does dry, it still rinses away pretty nice. But I would definitely avoid using this in the sunshine. Again, that's one of the biggest steps I can give you and tips I can give you is to wash your car when you're in shade and when it's not 100 degrees in the baking sun. That's just going to make your life miserable and not be fun at all. So let's get our bucket filled up. We'll get ready to rinse this off. We've already got our other foam cannon over here ready to go. So once we rinse this, can refoam it with our Shampoo Plus and immediately get into our contact wash. As you guys can already see, we've done a great job at breaking down a lot of that dirt. Now what you'll notice up here, it's beating up pretty good, and then down here kind of sheeting water. That's kind of the thing with Geon Wet Coat. We also have a lot of contamination here. Wet Coat is not meant to replace a ceramic coating, but areas like the hood, it really helps get a lot of those bugs, dirt, and grime off, but it just doesn't have the same amount of kind of coating power, if you will, that a full-on traditional ceramic coating does. Fingers crossed, eventually I'm going to get this thing coated. Nonetheless, in here we've got our Meguiar Shampoo Plus. Now we're ready to foam it with our pH neutral snow foam. That's when we get into our contact wash. So let's get this refoamed one more time. Now here's where things get really efficient. So I've grabbed a fresh, clean wash mitt out of here, get all the way down the center of the hood. Gonna wash down the side. We're going to flip this over, do the exact same on this side. Now that we've done that side, that one is done. So I'm going to place it into my other clean wash bucket, grabbed a fresh one. Now we're ready to scrub down the front end. Now this is where the one bucket method gets really efficient, is because I'm not having to go back into my bucket, scrub the bottom of the grit guard into one bucket, wring it out, go into the next one, then come out to the next panel. Nor am I worried about going all the way to the bottom on basically one mitt. So can come all the way down here. Then I flip. Now, my question to you is, why would you want that going back onto your paint? You don't. Boom, back into the blue bucket, fresh one, ready to go into the next panel. Well, we've got the EV9 fully hand washed now, and honestly, the most efficient way to do this. This should take you between 5 to 8 minutes full contact wash. It's crazy how quickly it goes. Again, I just want to emphasize this point. Why anybody would want to put that back into a bucket, into a soap bucket, and put it back onto your car. I understand that you, yes, have to use more wash mitts, but the risk of actually putting more damage and debris into your vehicle, for what purpose? I really don't understand. It takes longer. Okay, maybe it's a little bit more expensive up front because you have to buy 10 wash mitts. It's about $70 to get 10 of them. Personally, I think that's well worth it. So last couple of steps here now that we've done our contact wash. We're gonna fully rinse this off. Then once we get it rinsed off, we're gonna put a layer of wet coat over it, then use our paint finisher to fully dry. Lastly, before we get into drying the EV9 off here, we're going to use Gyeon Wet Coat. Now I want to show you a quick before and after of this door basically sheeting. Again, the only thing this car has ever had is Gyeon Wet Coat, not a long-term protection product. So down there you can really see how it's sheeting water, not really beating up at all. But this is the easiest freaking way to put on short-term protection. So basically, gonna twist this on here, start at the top of the door, mist this all the way down. This can go again on plastic trim, on paint, on windows, on wheels, pretty much everything on the exterior of your car. And just like magic, you now have a little bit of added protection. Just the coolest product out there. Absolutely love Gyeon Wet Coat. So I'm going to spend a few minutes going around the car doing this basically to everything just to get a nice little layer on there. Then we'll talk about drying. As you can see now, we've got beautiful tight beads all over the paint, the glass, the trim, the wheels, pretty much everything. Now it's time to talk about drying. So today we're going to be using paint finish for basically our drying aid. Now drying aids, what do those do? They add a little lubrication. They also help the microfibers soak up and pick up that water. If you're having trouble with streaking in your towels, recommend grabbing a drying aid. Again, one of my favorites being Paint Finish here by Posh Detailing, as well as Adam's Waterless Wash. Waterless Wash is amazing for it. It's quite a bit more cost effective, honestly, than using this. So what I like to do, mist my towel here, and then I'm just gonna mist the panel. and we're just going to wipe in gentle straight line motions here. Now, I'm sure you've watched a bunch of folks do this, and basically they go over it, fold the towel over, and just pull it. It's a little hard for me to do, of course, being one-handed. I also like having fresh sides. So with this, folding it into quarters, basically have 8 sides. So again, if we did miss any areas, I'm not just dragging that all over the rest of the car. So I actually prefer to do it this way. So I'm going to spend some time, go around the car. Then lastly, in terms of drying, if we need to, around the cracks and crevices, mirrors, we can use a car dryer, basically pressurized air, to blow that water out of there and get this thing 100% dry so we don't have a bunch of streaks and water lines. We're completely done now with the EV9, and it is absolutely sparkling. Always blows my mind what just a good, thorough, in-depth hand wash can actually do to these cars. Yes, it does take a little bit of time, but I really hope this video helps show you a few ways you can kind of speed up the process, a few other ways to think about washing your car. Washing your car is one of the most important ways, of course, to maintain it. You can do all the paint corrections, you can do all the ceramic coatings. If you don't properly wash your car, that stuff's not going to last and your car is going to look pretty disgusting. So I really hope these tips actually helped you. In reality here, when I'm not filming, this takes about 45 minutes to an hour total. That's from startup to finish. I'm ready to go home. And yeah, it's basically a little mini detail. You can see how much cleaner the wheels are looking now. Would like to throw some tire shine on. But look at the carpet fender liners there. They are just absolutely sparkling. The glass is dialed in, all of the paint. It really, at the end of the day, is not that bad of a process, but you just got to carve out some time. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. Again, all the products we used here today will be in the links in the description below. Pick some of them up. If you follow these tips, pretty much guarantee you're going to have a nice, clean car. Now, would I recommend doing this all the time? Well, it kind of depends on your use case. There are certain use cases for if you have a coated car. A lot of the times what I'll do when I just need an uber quick bath is literally foam the car, rinse it, and then come over here and use something like the Blow car dryer. It's of course not going to be as in-depth of a clean like this is, but I think you kind of get the gist of it there. So make sure you're keeping your cars clean, enjoy them, drive them, get them dirty, and then enjoy cleaning them back up. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in another one soon. Bye-bye.